Awesome.
Relationships matter, even though you may not see the value in talking to somebody at length. You never know when that person is going to have an influence on you later on in life or in your business.
And you need to think about relationships beyond you. You need to think of those relationships intergenerational, if that's correct.
And we're back. Welcome to the latest episode in Commerce and Chill. I am Jessica Johnson Cope.
I'm Waleed.
Hey, Waleed, what's good?
Chilling.
Now, you all in Commerce and Chill land have been fortunate. You've gotten a couple of episodes. We have not, however, been here to record fresh content here in studio. So we wanted to give you a recap of some of the experiences we had over the past few weeks being out of the office, but nonetheless want to give you some hot fire to encourage you and help you blaze into the second quarter of 2022. So, Chief, where have you been?
I was down in Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale, Florida. What's going on down there?
Had to go down to the Laundromat Millionaire. Well, first of all, don't say me because everybody went. The whole crew went. We was rolling 4 deep. SB was there. Stylish Ev was there.
This is true.
JJC was there. So, yeah, we went down to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, to the Laundromat Millionaire Conference. Shout out to Dave Mins for inviting us and having me on the panel for
shout out to the whole
pickup and delivery
Laundromat Millionaire crew, the extended family.
Oh, it's like I'm scared to say names because I don't want to forget anybody, but it was
take
just
out
like,
your list. I'm sure you got like a roll call.
I was just on LinkedIn, like looking at the photos and trying to tag, and I miss people. Shout out to my man Alfred, aka Frugal Freddy. I forgot to tag him in one of the photos on LinkedIn. I'd be struggling on LinkedIn to find some people's profiles sometime to tag them, but yeah.
So let me just back up before you get into some additional details about the Laundromat Millionaire Conference. Today's episode is going to talk about environment, right? What it means to be a product of your environment, regardless of where you live, where you work, whether it's consciously or unconsciously, we all reflect the environments in which we do business, in which we operate. And so we were outside of our normal business environment, being at the Laundromat Millionaire Conference, and then subsequently last week, I was away in the Twin Cities of St. Paul and Minneapolis, Minnesota for the Pathways Post Sports to Prosperity conference. And so we wanted to just talk about
Look at you. You was out the office double dipping.
I was out of the office double dipping.
I just got to go once. You
could have come.
No.
I just didn't it's cold in the Twin Cities.
What they got to do with it? I'm a New Yorker. Cold. What the people got is cold. What the?
Yeah,
I'm from New York.
I was taken aback when I got off the plane and somebody's like, "It's a warm 20 degrees here." The devil is a lie. There is nothing warm about 20 degrees. I'm just saying.
So what? You fly back on Saturday and then flew out on Sunday?
So yes, that's exactly what happened. We flew back from Fort Lauderdale on Saturday, and then Monday morning, 6 a.m., I was on a flight to St. Paul, Minnesota. Mind you, in between Sunday, was in the office. Got out a proposal, a proposal in response to an RFP for an upcoming project here in the areas. Visited my sites, checked in on my people, and then 6 o'clock, I was on the flight, taking off. Midwest, Minneapolis, St. Paul. So we want to talk about environments, right? It's something that sometimes we take for granted, but as a small business owner, we want you to realize what your environment can mean for you personally as well as for your business. So we're going to take a few minutes to talk about what are some of the advantages of occasionally switching up your environment and being mindful of the people that you have in your environment. So Cope, you're saying about the Laundromat Millionaire Conference that you didn't want to put out a lot of names. You might forget somebody. But talk to us about, because you and I have this debate often about being out of the office.
Phone's going off, scam likely.
Being out of the office. I'm much more likely
Don't even bring it up. I'm done with that. It's time for a new thing.
Do you want? Well,
I'm trying to be out all the time.
Well, at least set the context.
Well, go ahead. You finish setting the context.
So Cope always clowns me. He's like, "Oh, Johnson, you going to another conference? Oh, Johnson."
Tell the whole thing though. It's not just about going to a conference. But go ahead. You finish setting the stage.
"Oh, Johnson, you going out of town again? Oh, we got stuff to do here. We live in New York. It's so much in New York. Why you gotta leave New York?" So if you were to see someone taking advantage of a conference opportunity, you would see me doing it more often than Cope. And if it's an opportunity to go out of town, it's not just about going out of town, even though I think at some point Cope thinks, "Oh, Johnson just likes to go out of town." No, it's when I'm going out of town, I'm going out of town for a purpose.
Yeah, to go hang out at some people with a
I'm
conference.
just reminded.
Hey, what's up, people? Woo, let's network. Woo, you got cheese, you got crackers. Woo, hors d'oeuvres.
Wait, when am I ever not working?
Woo, go ahead.
Am I ever one to not work?
Finish
Do I put my
stage.
work off on you?
I didn't know. You never heard me say that. Finish setting the stage
So
I can hurry up and get on it.
okay, so I'll just say this. Cope will play motivational videos on YouTube in our downtime at home.
Wait, motivation or inspirational? Two different things.
It's a little bit of both.
Inspirational.
Okay.
That
he
motivational
considers
stuff,
it inspirational.
It is. Google, you etymology lady in Merriam-Webster.
Inspiration means
look
to
up
inspire.
The
In other words, to breathe in.
Look up the difference.
Motivation.
Everyone should look up the difference between inspiration and motivation.
To movement, moving something.
But motivation speaks to for a particular reason. Like the dentist be like, you should brush your teeth because you don't want to get cavities. So you try to motivate you using cavities. They're two different things. So I encourage people, make sure you look up the difference between the two.
So in one of the videos that I was listening to, I was ear hustling and while Cope was watching one
AKA
of his
being nosy.
inspirational
Ear hustling means being
YouTube
nosy.
videos. And I believe it was Grant Cardone, and he was talking about Bill Gates and Warren Buffett. And the quote goes something to the effect of, you never hear Warren Buffett and Bill Gates talking about where they live, but you hear them talk about going places because they go where the money is. Don't ask me what else Grant Cardone said, because that's all that resonated with me. So that's the stage. Long story short, Cope learned of this conference that one of our laundry peers, Dave
I was
Mintz,
invited to.
No, well, you were invited, but when we initially signed up, you weren't originally scheduled to be on the panel.
No, I signed up for it. I mean, I knew about it.
He heard about the conference and he was like, we should go.
Well, I know,
and we should take the content team.
It kind of happened a little different than that.
Okay, you tell me how it happened then.
It really happened. Let's put it on record for all the viewers and listeners, AKA Jordan Berry and Dave Mintz. So we knew about the conference and we were considering going until I got on Jordan and Dave's YouTube live Q&A one day, and they straight shamed me in the on the video and in the chats while I was on there, like, "Oh, Waleed, you not going?" Blah 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 blah. And I was like, "Oh, I got to do laundry." And then Dave proceeded to say, "Oh, you got people to do laundry for you at the store, so that's no excuse." And they straight just shamed me.
So was that motivation or inspiration?
That was neither. It was shame. Nah, but we were considering going already, but that was just the
icing on the cake.
That was the icing on the cake when Dave and Jordan roasted me on the YouTube live Q&A, which was totally awesome. And then there were there were a couple people who were at the conference who were in that YouTube, like Logan was in that YouTube live that day in the chats. And then we got to meet face to face at the conference. Yeah, but that's how it really went down. So yes, thank you, Dave and Jordan, for roasting me on that YouTube live. So
yeah. Talk to the people in Commerce and Chill-In about what was beneficial about the Laundromat Millionaire Conference environment and what some of your biggest takeaways were from being there.
So first of all, this was the first time that I know of in the laundry industry where one individual put on a conference that was around, I don't want to say a laundry theme because that sounds like, Halloween or something, but the laundry industry. Someone who's known in the industry by colleagues, who does mentoring, who's in the business, not just talking the business, but practices the business, has several locations. I want to guess here because I don't remember off the top of my head. I want to say I think Dave has like 6 locations now and working on another one, or 5 and working on the newest one. So it was something that was done totally unique, hasn't been done in the industry. Typically the conferences are put on by the different organizations in the laundry, aka garment care industry.
Either the industry organizations or the manufacturers and distributors who are trying to get people to use their products or make purchases from them.
So it was the first time an individual has done it that I'm aware of. And it's the same thing I've heard from everybody else the first time. So for it to be a conference, obviously people come. It's their choice to come. It's not like it's an invite. And I'll say this about it. If I didn't know any better, the group of individuals that were there, the conversations, the networking, the interactions, it almost felt as if, actually not almost, it felt as if everyone who was there was invited. So like this was it was a guest list because the interactions were so good. People had great conversations. The mindset of individuals was like, it was totally next level. I've been to conferences before, and I'm not trying to sit here and just be like, oh, wow, this thing was the greatest thing since sliced bread. I'm just telling it like it is. I've been to other conferences and events before, and, you'll get people that just be like, just like naysayers. They're just there, and they're like, I don't even want to say they're negative, but what are you blinking your eyes at?
I'm just listening.
She's trying to give me, you should see a blink in the eyes of me trying to be like, oh, that was you back in the day.
My eyes blinking?
They were earlier. Somebody rewind the footage. No. They were blinking earlier. But anyway, it was a good group, and people were from all over the United States. I want to say there might have been somebody who flew in from another country.
There were a handful of individuals who were international.
From international. So it was great. And to go to your question, being around people of different mindsets or, just different thought processes, it's better for you. It's better for the individual because you get exposed to different things. You get to listen. Like it truly, part of the thing, I'm like kind of upset, and I put on a LinkedIn post as a comment to someone today. Like I didn't get to sit down and have more one-on-one conversations with a lot of people that were there. Some that I knew prior to going to the conference, and then others that I met at the conference for the first time. I don't know. We were there for 4 days, I think it was.
Wednesday through Saturday.
Yeah, and I swear the days went by like super fast.
Yes.
Like 1 or 2 days, like one day for sure, we were up to like 2 a.m. They threw us out one area of the hotel because they was like, yeah, we got to shut it down and clean it. Because we were just, talking about marketing, talking about business. Like it was very insightful.
I'll say this. A few days prior to leaving for the conference, I got an Instagram message from a friend, an old dear friend from...
You gonna be at that conference, girl?
Yeah, from over 20 years ago when I first moved to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And so my friend, her name is Adija. Shout out to Adija M. Smith Events, event planners. She was like...
Clearly, they handled the planning of the event, but continue to stay.
I didn't know you were going to the Laundromat Millionaire Conference.
She just
out
Facebook
the blue.
Messenger.
She Facebook messaged me, and I don't even be on Facebook Messenger like that. Like I'll sometimes be on Facebook, but if you send me a message, if you send me a message on Facebook Messenger, I'm be like,
excuse me, Meta Messenger. Please get it right. I don't want us to get shut down.
Okay.
On any of our platforms. By,
anyway, I don't really check that platform.
Zuckerberg.
And so I was like, oh snap, my girl's gonna be there. So
sorry, Mark.
I was even more amped to go. And then I had some other work to do while Waleed was in some of the sessions. So like literally I was holed up in one of the side conference rooms on video calls. I think I had like 3 client calls and 2 prospective client calls. And
so you're trying to say you were working while we were there? And
I was working. No, you were definitely working.
I was working.
You were working.
I was on the panel. Let's be absolutely clear.
But it was a nice
fire.
It was a nice change.
I'm trying to toot my own horn here.
Of pace to be able to have breakfast on the balcony.
Dropped a couple of charcoal briquettes while I was there.
the breeze blowing off of the ocean, and to, even while we were inside in the conference rooms, have the palm trees swaying outside the windows. And then when we got a little bit of downtime, not much, got to walk along the beach and let the sand rub under my feet and between my toes and energize the fissures in my mind. So like
I didn't see the beach at all. Well, I saw it out the window,
to step under,
but my feet did not see any sand.
So like for me, it was really good to be able to reconnect with a friend and to see her doing her thing professionally. And then to see how much other people respected the work that she was doing. That was hot.
Her and the team definitely crushed it.
Yeah. And then to make new friends in the industry, because so often Cope will do the laundry thing, I'll do the security thing, and even though people see us together on the podcast, they don't always see us as the force that we are in both businesses. So there are a lot of other family-owned laundromats represented at the conference. So talking to other couples who are trying to figure out how to navigate the challenges of the laundry business and then navigate the challenges of family, it really felt like community.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great group. You had people who were there, like couples, like JD and his new wife. Her name escapes me so fast.
Shoot, if you hadn't said it, I would have remembered.
Yeah, I shouldn't have said it. But like JD, hope he closes on that deal because then he's moving to New York from Texas. He gets to be our neighbor.
Joe and Samantha,
100%.
Brian and Tamara from Philly.
Yep. Luke and Lee, they're brothers. Russell and Ross.
They're a couple.
Yes.
They're partners. And the brothers.
Yeah, Luke and Lee.
No, the other brothers, the Dolce brothers.
Oh, Jerry
and Jason.
Mm-hmm. Then there was
the Hamper guys, weren't they brothers?
I want to say
Hamper app.
Jorge and I'm so slacking here. Just email me today too. I got to email you back. I didn't.
But
forget.
most of all, Dave and his lovely wife Carla.
I mean, it was just a great. Jordan was there. His wife came. Then the Sense team was there. Alex, Eli, Kevin. I'm so gonna get in trouble. Bobby, Ryan, Ricky, and Mike. Not sorry.
And then there was even a financial Ryan, presentation from Curtis May out of Philadelphia, and he had his lovely wife Erica, who's my sorority sister. So we had a nice time talking. And shout out to Todd. Thank you, Todd, for hosting the after party.
Oh yeah, Todd is the man. Like Todd,
great conversation. Just made us feel the Florida hospitality, but then brought it all together as his business represents. These are the laundry wholesalers.
Laundry wholesale warehouse.
That's it. Laundry warehouse.
Yeah, we're gonna tag everybody down in the comments.
And so,
but those two guys are.
He was just very sociable, helped put things into context, and just a great partner.
Let's be clear. Todd had cats shipped to Florida.
That's like Cat's Delicatessen. If you're from New York, you know Cats from House
and Junior's Cheesecake shipped to Florida for the after party. So as a New Yorker, and Todd is
originally from New York.
Shout
out to
Queens.
Flushing. Yep.
Yeah. So to see that, I was just like, his game is next level. Yeah. But genuinely, like people, Sharon and her husband.
Oh yes.
Laundry Station. It's just a great.
It's just community and family
group of people, and you talk about environment earlier. It's just amazing how you get around. You know, I've gotten some DMs and some emails too, but just being around those different individuals who are, and it's not even about like what I'm going to say here. It's not even about comparing. It's just like looking at what everybody's doing, and we're all in the same industry, but everybody's doing something. We're doing the same, but different. It's like back in the day, three of these things, blah, 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 doing their own thing, right? We're doing the same, but we're doing it different. And everybody's putting their own spin on laundry or, dry cleaning, etc. Pick up and delivery, self-service in their market and in their stores. And it was just so great to be around different individuals, to be inspired, like just to see and like hear some of the stories. Like Dave recently wrote a book and he gave everybody a copy. And I was talking.
We probably have to cover that in the upcoming episode.
I'm so slacking because I haven't read it yet, Dave. Everybody tells me it's a great read. It's an easy read. But Joe was telling me when we were on a call the other day, and he was just like, it would just the things Dave has done and the things he has overcome. So to hear other people's stories, not just Dave's, but like Steve Andrews, like who was on the panel with me, and Alex and Ross, to like hear their stories. Like, oh, like Ross opened up a store. He brought his first laundromat, and the next day it burned to the ground. Like, and then he's still in the business. He has multiple stores. They do pickup and delivery under a separate brand. Like, that's like really gangster inspirational, like to hear that. Like, you buy a business, you don't even get a chance to do anything, and then the next day it burns down.
And he found out he didn't have the right insurance?
Like, so I heard he's telling the story, like, basically I believe to redo, he was underinsured for it, but they did what they had to do and got the business open, remodeled and opened. But just to hear these different stories, and like Alex, who's a 2U Laundry and Laundro Lab, how they created the franchise model for it. And I looked at some of the image, like, first of all, shout out to Alex, because like you're doing some really serious stuff down there. And I want to say in the Charlotte area, like when we go down south, we so have to connect with Alex, because their stores, I've seen pictures and videos of it, like they're just like phenomenal. And just he's doing he's doing it in the franchising space of laundry. Mm-hmm. And I listened to his story, and he's talking about the different franchisees, the people who buy into the franchise. Yeah, franchisees, because the franchisor is the one that sells it. And like they've got numerous people, how he's raised money to do this, to support, et cetera, to support the franchisees, et cetera, and the whole business model and how they're building out. It's just great to be around those different individuals and just listen and take that all in. And it's like, to me, it's like, it's fuel for the fire. Cause then I'm like, it's not a competition, but I'm just like, damn, so-and-so is doing this, so-and-so is doing that. And then I look at myself, I'll be like, damn, I'm slacking. Just internally, not saying it as a bad way or the comparison, but I'm like, it make you say, I want to get my game up. So now I'll be like, what I got to do next? And what's the next thing? And so on and so on. How do we keep building? How do we keep growing?
I'm just going to take a step back, because if you watch Commerce and Chill before, you know that I'm a lover of words, and I want to put it in context. Screen. So here comes a Merriam-Webster definition of environment: the circumstances, objects, or conditions by which one is surrounded. The circumstances, objects, or conditions by which one is surrounded. And one of the other sub-definitions that I like is the aggregate of social and cultural conditions that influence the life of an individual or community. And I would dare say that Dave Menz was the lightning rod that brought that particular environment together, not just the physical space, but the people in that community. And that just made all the difference. And like Cope said, even though we technically are doing the same thing, one of the things Dave said that stood out was like, if you think of it as competition, then you really think of it in a scarcity mindset. But if you think of it as cooperation and collaboration, then you're looking at it from an abundance standpoint. And so even though, there's enough laundry, there's enough dry cleaning to go around, that we can be in a room with other operators and share best practices and not worry that we're going to lose business, because we're all contributing to building one another up. Just to dig down a little bit deeper on the word environment, if we look at the etymology of the word, it dates back to the 1600s. Talk about state of being environed. And yes, there is an N in the middle of environment. I mean, actually there are two N's, but one right in the middle. It's the sense of aggregate of the conditions in which a person or thing lives. And so, as you are establishing your business, as you are growing your business, take heed to the people, the cultural influences, and the things around you that impact you and your business, because they will either have a positive or a negative influence. And as much as possible, you want to control that for the positive. Chief, is there anything else that you want to add about the Laundromat Millionaire Conference before we go on to the Twin Cities?
No, go ahead. I didn't give a shout out to Brian. You and Brian had a lovely discussion at the after party, and it was so great that Brian, who is like the
from Laundry Cares,
but he's also from partner at Easton Funding, who does financing for businesses in the laundromat industry, and I think they do others too.
And has a long-lasting relationship with the Cope family that dates back for decades.
Yeah, which was super interesting to make that connection. Not even make the connection, but to draw the lines. Like after Brian and I got introduced, then the next day he's like, "Wait a minute, you're Cope, you're so and so's son, and you're related." Blah 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 blah. So long story short, Brian and his team did the financing for one of my dad's stores. I don't want to say it was our second store they did the financing on. I think they were doing the financing. Yeah, they did this finance on the second one for us. And then it was just awesome when Brian was like, "Yeah, I know your dad from this and with this, that, and the third, and we did the deal here, and I know Dave," and a whole bunch of other people that were
There's
all
a whole bunch
connected.
of people named Dave and Brian in the laundry industry, just for the record.
For a record, yeah.
I'm always like, Dave who? Which one? Brian who? Last name?
This is Brian G. But everybody will be tagged up in the show notes below. But that was like really cool. But Twin Cities, take it away.
But I mean that kind of segues into the Twin Cities. Like awesome. Relationships matter, even though you may not see the value in talking to somebody at length. You never know when that person is going to have an influence on you later on in life or in your business.
And you need to think about relationships beyond you. You need to think of those relationships intergenerational, if that's correct. Because Brian had a relationship with my dad and other individuals that my dad was interacting with in the laundry industry decades ago. And then now here, I end up connecting with Brian through someone else, Dave and Jordan.
And we'll be working with Brian at Laundry Care in July.
In July for the just before the day before a clean show. So I guess we're taking this show.
We're coming to you, Atlanta, Georgia.
We're taking this show on the road again. So the clean show is in Atlanta, Georgia. So shout out to all my people in ATL, which is my man Andre at Key Lime Locksmith, and my man Lawrence at Cashing in the Dreams. So
coming to see you.
We're going to be in the ATL area. So if you're listening to this episode, hit me up so we can figure out how we connect. Because I have no idea what a clean show is in Atlanta.
It's probably at the Dome.
Atlanta can't be, but so big.
It's at the convention center, so it's right downtown.
It can't be, but so big.
Right down the street from Venus.
Atlanta is the city.
Atlanta is a city.
I didn't mean it like that. Like, is it a city? Like, I know it's not a
Some
state.
people will say Atlanta is the Mecca.
Right. But it's not, I don't think it's a huge city.
It's big enough.
Right.
The metro area, the Atlanta metro area
I think
large
like
enough.
New York, like 5 boroughs. So somebody's like, oh, I'm going to be in New York City. You could pretty much connect with them even if they were in any one of the 5 boroughs. They're big, but it's not like, if somebody was like, oh, I'm upstate New York where it's like 4 hours, I'd be like, I'll see you when you come closer.
So a few years ago,
Twin
I was
Cities.
at a conference in Atlanta, and I met a gentleman named Isaiah Reese. At the time, he was working with Microsoft in marketing. And he was one of the presenters at the conference, and we exchanged information on LinkedIn. And he pulled me to the side. He was like, you don't need to be here. Like, he literally did say that to me at that conference. He's like, you don't need this. Like, you got everything you need. And I was like, dude, you don't know me. I'm here. I'm enjoying this. He's like, you don't need this.
Why did he tell you don't need it?
That's a good conversation
You got to ask him that. But anyway, go ahead.
And so we stayed connected. And through the years, he'd come up with opportunities and say, hey, Jay, I want you to know what I'm working on, because I think there's some space in the security for you to be a part of the team. And so every 6 to 9 months, Isaiah's like, Jay, this is what we're doing. He's originally from South Carolina, but has a business footprint that includes Memphis, Tennessee. And then he moved to the Twin Cities. And then he was like, yo, Jay, I'm working with this group up here. You have to come meet them. And I was like, oh, Isaiah, ain't nobody coming to the Twin Cities. He was like, no, Jay, like this group, they're blessed. They're doing some great work. And so he introduced me to Dr. Paul Campbell and Dr. Chris of the Brown Venture Group. And they're doing some great things in the Minneapolis, Twin Cities, so Minneapolis and St. Paul are neighboring cities, area. And so as a result of the murder of George Floyd, they decided to pull their Black brilliance. And identify ways to pour into Black and Brown led businesses, particularly tech businesses, and particularly in the Twin Cities. Because if you're not familiar with the Twin Cities, I believe they have the second most per capita Fortune 5,000 firms after New York. Don't miss that.
That's serious.
Don't miss that. So it's a major corporate hub. It's a major medical hub. The Mayo Clinic is located in the Twin Cities. You have firms like Pillsbury, Medtronic. You could go down the list. So there are 3M. You know them the real legit Post-it notes. Those come out of Minnesota, Minneapolis, Minnesota, the Twin Cities area.
I love Post-it notes.
Man, listen. My college roommate Venus, she interned at 3M summer after our freshman year.
Colors with lines on it. When I was a public school teacher,
we had Post-it notes everywhere. Long story short, Dr. Paul and Dr. Chris invited me up for some work that they were doing. And so I spent 2 days in the Twin Cities. We were able to connect with some other entrepreneurs.
I'm going to have to get a jet next. All this traveling.
We attended the Minnesota Timberwolves games when they played.
Wait, you went to the Timberwolves game?
Yes, because one of our hosts is the head of basketball operations.
Why am I just finding out about this? She talking about she working. She talking about she working Commerce and Chill fam. She's like, I'm working the whole time, but she at a game. I'm in a hotel with the air conditioning so cold, freezing, walking around, shaking people's hands down in Fort Lauderdale in the W Hotel, and I'm just working. I'm just slaving at the conference. I'm like, pick up and delivery, laundry, pick up and delivery. And you at the game.
Well, no, okay.
Eating popcorn, I bet, sitting courtside, relaxing.
No. We were sitting upstairs.
Oh, she was in the suite.
We were sitting upstairs with the team.
The team.
We were not the Timberwolves team.
Oh, you were sitting with the owners.
With the Brown Venture team.
Oh, in the suite.
We're sitting upstairs. And so I want to shout out to everybody that was there. We got to tour their esports gaming studio. It's hot. It's hot. We gotta get one of those here in the South Bronx and in Brooklyn. We coming for you with the esports. We're gonna get the esports league. We're gonna get the esports league. Because wait, isn't Gary Vee invested in a group that's doing esports in Minnesota too?
Yeah, Minnesota somebody.
Yeah, let me tell you, watch out. And just got to be around people who are very principled, who are intelligent, Black examples of Black excellence, doing great things. My girl Nita and her organization, the Project Diva International, is literally changing the lives and trajectories of young ladies who don't know what they want to do with their future. She's helping them become pilots. She's getting young ladies their pilot licenses. Met with Mr. Larry McKenzie. I'm gonna make him a doctor before it's over.
That sounds like all suite level stuff going on.
Mr. McKenzie, the coach at North High School, who's turning out great student athlete, one of the winningest coaches in Minnesota high school history, and we trying to get him some money so he can build out the center so he could do more with the youth there. Just nice young men doing great things in the classroom and on the court, and then talking about how we can create economic opportunity, social justice opportunity, just create the change so that folks who are from the Minnesota Twin Cities area won't get left behind, and that people that bring their intelligence and beauty and creativity to the Twin Cities don't just leave without making an impact in the community. So we're cooking up some great stuff. We had a panel on Tuesday evening titled Pathways to Success Post Sports. And that was just phenomenal. We'll tag all the people that were there and probably do some additional content on that. But it just reminded me of how important it is every once in a while to move out of your comfort zone and to go someplace different, get a change of environment, a change of scenery, and that might help you get a change of perspective and remind you of what's possible. Because if you keep looking at the same things every day, you might trick yourself into thinking that that's what the limit is. Like you're limited by what you can see. And if you see something different, well, if you're exposed to something different, well, if you're exposed to different people, well, I'll just say the opportunities are limitless. So that's what this change in environment over the last 2 weeks has meant for me. Seeing additional opportunities, meeting great people, and then just being encouraged, enthused, and inspired.
There you go.
About what's going to happen with us here at Converse and Chill for you as a result of what we might be able to share with you, as well as what's going to happen in our respective businesses, the Soapbox and Johnson Security. Because check this. Even though we've been out of town, we got one new contract and working on 2 more.
Yeah. Okay.
So, Chief, is there anything else you'd like to add as we close?
Nope. Just shout out to everybody who was at the conference. I'm sure I probably missed somebody. I'm sorry if you're watching. But, yeah, appreciate it. It's a great time, and there's more to come.
And just a reminder in closing, if you don't think that you occasionally should change your environment or that your environment doesn't matter, think of the words of Jim Rohn. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Who are your 5 people?
Damn.
And are you spending or are you investing? Get the right 5 people and you get your life right. Chief?
Got nothing else to add. I got to go do a webinar after this. So,
as always, in closing, it's been great having you with us. If you got something good out of it, like it, subscribe, hit us up in the DM, tell a friend. Thank you to all of the new subscribers. We are so glad to have you.
David, and he was sitting at the table with us at the conference.
Which table? There are a lot of tables.
Your table. They're in Philly. They have the laundromats. I was just on a call with David and his wife the other day. Yes, Tamara and David. Shout out to them. Did we say shout out to Samantha and Joe too?
We did.
Shout out to Brian, Kevin Bowman at Sense, Jordan at Sense, Gilly. I didn't say Gilly at Sense.
No, shout out to Gilly.
Yeah, because he was at the conference.
And then while we were at the conference, the Miami Dolphins were having their business conference to help their players establish strong business properties so that they have life beyond the field. And so we got to interact with some of the players as well as some of the business support people who were there. So shout out to Jay from Hullo, Hullo. Check out his app. Jay, holla at your girl because we got to finish our conversation. But the conversation at Commerce and Chill doesn't end. You can always come back for the next episode. So we'll be back here next week. If you missed anything, catch us on all your favorite podcast platforms, as well as BronxNet and Brick, BRIC, Brick Public Access. You can catch us there as well. We thank you for the time that you shared with us today. And we look forward to seeing you real soon. Take care. I am Jessica Johnson Cope.
I'm Waleed.
Holla.